Hello, friends. I'm DJ Lance Rock, and I have to say, Rock and Roll Grad School is awesome!
This is Rock and Roll Grad School with your hosts Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling. This ain't no nightclub or CBGBs.
Hello, kiddies. We're going to have a real good time together. We're talking about soul gaze. Which
We are.
We are. We are gazing into our souls, other souls.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's what Miki does, right?
She does. Well, that's one of many things that Miki does.
And I think that's the interesting thing about her as a artist in this way. She's started two companies.
Well, she's a serial entrepreneur. She started a restaurant.
Oh, that's right. Forgot the restaurant.
She's started two quite famous product lines, very unique product lines, which you'll hear about in the show.
Yeah.
And also is a burgeoning musician that has just completed her first album.
Yes, with friend of the show, HAPPIE Hoffman.
Yes.
So all circular there. It's wonderful.
It's beyond wonderful. It is. This one could be life-changing for some people.
I feel like we've been having these conversations where we finish and we hang up and we both kind of go like, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That nothing against some of our other guests, and you can list them off, but we don't always end interviews by going like, wow, there's something really interesting here. And I got stuff I can kind of take away with me and chew on and all of the rest.
Yeah. This one has a lot and a lot. Her philosophy on life and where it's taken her is pretty sweet. And
it's a good way to go.
It is.
So hopefully we can all be following in her wake.
Yeah. And
who doesn't want that?
Yeah. And hopefully some people are purchasing some of her products as well as her album, especially based on her comparison and descriptions of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you see the video I sent you the other day of the Foo Fighters?
I saw the link, but I have not had a chance to watch it.
Did you read the story?
I have not had a chance yet. I've been surrounded by people.
Okay. So
I mean, I read the headline.
Yes. So this tour, the Foo Fighters have been covering a lot of the songs that their new drummer and friend of the show, Josh Freese, has played on.
Yes.
And so it is allowed, and if you will recall from our interview with him, he's played with Sting and it's an insane assortment of different musicians.
Everything from our interview with him. He's one of my favorites.
He was lovely. And it's so cool to see him in this new platform and where other people are, a larger section of people are getting to hear his talents.
It gives us another opportunity to take credit for someone's success.
Yes, and we will always do that.
Yes.
But he, I guess a couple of times the Foo Fighters have covered Michael Bublé's Just Haven't Met You Yet, because Josh played on that record.
Right.
And this past weekend, the cameras caught in the crowd somebody with a giant sign that said, I Heart Bublé. And Dave Grohl pointed this out. The person put down their sign, and it turns out it was Michael Bublé himself who came up and did the song with them. And Dave Grohl mentioned the fact that Bublé had flown up from Argentina that day. And it's something I think we would do, because he ended it by saying, this proves how far we would go with the joke.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you haven't seen it, I mean, watching the Foo Fighters cover anything is amazing.
Delightful. Yes. I was in the midst of like madness, but as always, part of why I didn't watch it was it said they went too far. So I thought I was going to be like upset.
I think it's, again, the joy with which that whole band approaches music, love or hate, love or take or leave their own stuff.
Yes.
watching them play somebody else's music.
Agreed.
That video of them with the, oh, what's that terrible Baptist church in the Midwest? We don't need to remember their name because it's not.
Keep going. Yes.
But they were protesting something completely innocuous and reasonable. But the band rented a flatbed trailer and came around doing covers off the DG's record. I believe they were playing "You Should Be Dancing."
Yes.
If that doesn't put a spring in your step and a song in your heart,
absolutely,
it's just lovely.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, I check it out.
I'll go back and watch it.
Yes.
Je suis là. Regarde-moi. Embrasse-moi. Doucement. 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 Je suis là. Regarde-moi. Embrasse-moi. Doucement. 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 Go by you and running around, distracting yourself with all that's abound. I get it, there's so much to look at. It's all so easy to do this and that.
Life will go by you when you're running around, distracting yourself from all that's abound. I get it, there's so much to look at. It's also so easy to do this and that. Do less, be more, do less, be more, do less.
Congratulations on the record. I was listening to it. It's got a nice hook to it, the whole thing.
Thank you.
How did you you're known for doing so much other stuff. Almost sort of, do they describe you as like a professional disruptor?
No, I guess I'm just a serial entrepreneur is how people refer me as, but
sounds less problematic.
What's a label? We're all going to die, you know?
Right. No, very much
true.
So. That's how we approach. Yeah, so much of it.
Collect as many labels as possible, so they all have to go on our tombstones.
They just become a melange and a soup, and at that point, you're just drinking the soup. It doesn't even matter what you are. Like you're just a
exactly.
Beat, you know,
exactly.
Perfect.
So, what made you decide or think that now is the time to make a record?
Honestly, it just poured out of me as I was kind of going through my, uncoupling process out of my 11-year marriage. And it was just sort of like a medium that I'd never really worked on. I mean, I've built companies, I've written books, I've DJ'd, I've like done so many different things, but like making and writing music was the inspiration had never hit until this moment where I was like, wow, love, like what is more inspiring? It's like, you think about the best music that's ever made. It's always like when people are going through heartbreak or when they're falling in love. And so for me, this was an incredible journey of like, just almost like colorfully and like in a melodically documenting the process of really unpacking what love is and what love means to me. Mm-hmm. And that's why the song is like a dance opera of sorts, where you have to listen to the whole track, where it starts in Antarctica, where I wrote my very first song, was actually in Antarctica, and really falling in love with the land and the people, and just really like feeling freedom within myself after a long time, that I was sort of like the last couple of years of my marriage, we were struggling. Like I will say that I had a very successful marriage for a decade. In the last couple, like a year and a half, couple of years were really where we were like, ooh, it was the slow leak that was kind of permeating throughout the entire marriage became a huge sieve during COVID, when we were just like locked in together. And it just was beautiful because it could have been this slow leak for a really long time, or we're like, hey, we're co-parents, we love each other. There's this big part of our marriage that's not working for me. It was the deep intimacy, presence, connection. Like I really, really want and crave that. And we just weren't meeting in that way, which was, it's okay. And so it's like, rather than letting it just, like, let's just end it powerfully together, move into co-parenting, move into family, and then keep moving, and I think this album was just that whole story of like, first finding freedom within myself. Then it was like, the yearning of like, I just want to be in partnership where it's about doing less and being more. It's about like falling in love and gazing into each other's eyes and just being slow together and just just being there together in full presence. Like that's what I'm longing for. Then it was like, oh, like going through the actual separation. It was so scary. It was like, oh my God, like, where's home? Like, what's home after 11 years, right? This like scary moment where then I kind of, the song Fire, it was really about like sitting with, I did this breathwork thing and I was laying there being like, first day, like uprooted from my marriage, like, you know, really like our first day of separation, we're like, whoa, like this is crazy. And then I basically said to myself, like, Miki, like find the center point of your heart and the center point of your guts and like warm yourself from the inside out and light your flame and light your fire. And I did. And it was like this, you know, call of arms of like, like I've got this, I can do this. Then it was like the Queen, where it was like a moment of anger, where I was just like, why can't you just, like, my anger is as sacred as my joy, just love me for all of me. And so the song is about that, you know, still going through the separation point of my marriage. And then 6 Little Words is about like, get me, and like the 6 little words we all want to hear, like, I get you, I got you. Anyways, so it's like this whole like journey of fart in the wind. Anyways, and then to the end, I you know, change, which is like, I've changed, you've changed, it's okay. Like fart in the wind is like, it's a final like attempt to reconcile. It's like, you know, fuck it. Like, let's just try it. Like, there's nothing to lose. I love you, love us. I can take the bruise. Like, let's just be together and try one more time. And then in the end, it's really about like life comes and goes like a fart in the wind. Like life comes and goes so quickly. Like, let's try one last time. But then change is like, I've changed, you've changed, and it's okay. Like, let's just like hold hands through the next chapter as family, as friends, and it's totally okay. Like I will remember and cherish our love we've always had. So it's this like total journey of love. And it's not like, fuck you. And it's just the longing. It's the desires. It's the waking up and feeling the freedom. It's the lighting ourselves back on fire. It's just, it's the potential of what love could be in this next chapter.
It's certainly a more upbeat breakup record than, say, Marvin Gaye's Here My Dear. So that like right there is a check in your favor. Did you start writing these songs as a way to, obviously these songs are a way for you to process this and work through some of this stuff, and that's, I think everyone would agree that the point of music is to say to someone, I feel the same way too. But did you initially approach this whole recording and writing as my way to get through this, or just I found myself drawn to this thing and this is what came out of it?
I was just like, lyrics were just pouring out of me. Like, it was just like happening like that. And it wasn't like, I'm going to write an album. Like, it wasn't
right.
Like make a thing. Like, I've never made an album. I don't know how to make music. I've never done it before. So like, I would not know, but just the songs, I was sitting in these hyperbaric oxygen chambers. I would do hyperbaric oxygen. Like I did 20 sessions, and in those chambers,
we got to hang out more. This is what I've learned. But go on. That sounds amazing.
Seriously.
I was in these like hyperbaric oxygen chambers laying there, and I was just like, the melodies would come and then the lyrics, and I would just start writing lyrics, and then just the melodies. And then my girlfriend Happie, who's the one singing the songs, she's a seasoned artist and a musician, and I would send her like the melodies and the songs, and she would send back a recording with it more baked. And then we brought in our friend Gene, who's like a 4th generation musician, who's incredible, a producer as well, and he's Ryex's producer as well, one of his producers, and in his band. And he basically, us together, the 3 of us, like made the tracks. And it was such an incredible process of like fun. If you go to my Instagram, like you'll see one of the reels, like the making of the album. And it's just like fun to, you know, like it was like going through this fun process while I was grieving and going through like the freedom and grieving and the sadness and the anger and the excitement and the joy and of going through the breakup. Right.
Yeah. Well, because we've talked with Happie before, and
cool.
She's lovely and
yes.
Clearly incredibly talented.
Yeah.
How did the 2 of you hook up to start working on this stuff?
She's in the community. She's in the Daybreaker community, where I met her through. My twin sister started this early morning dance movement called Daybreaker before work starts. It's the coolest dance experience ever. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's basically 500,000 people, you know, get up and dance in the mornings. Like, you know, it's just a wild experience. If you go, again, I posted a bunch of stuff. You go to Daybreaker on Instagram, you'd also see like insane. magic they create. And so I met Happie through that she performed at one of the Daybreakers, and then she joined our crew in New York, and we just kind of all became friends. And this was sort of like a moment where we really, really connected. We're making this music together. It was great.
And lyrically, I love the stuff on the record. I love it because it sounds, there's elements of a mantra to some of the stuff.
Yeah, totally. They're like hymns.
Yeah, but it actually means something. I feel like there are times when you listen to stuff and you're like, this does not resonate with me. This does not kind of hit that spot. And this, listening to it, and it's the repetitiveness of it becomes part of the nature of it, and the rhythm of it, and the rhythm of the words. It's such an interesting combination of all these elements that really make something unique and special. Were you sitting there kind of writing this stuff out as haiku or counting syllables, like, or do you just wake up, or you're in the chamber going, all right, this is a good phrase, I need this?
No, I swear these songs, so I basically, the songs, I would just like wake up and just write the whole thing down in rhyme scheme. It just kind of poured out. And then in the hyperbaric oxygen chambers, I would kind of come up with the melodies for it. And then sent the melodic notes to Happie, and then, we'd collaborate that way. But it was like, really just like life will go by you and running around, distracting yourself with all that's abound. I get it. There's so much to look at. It's all so easy to do this and that. And then just like, do less, be more, do less, be more. It's just sort of like, and then like the initial part was like, do less, be more, do less, be more, like whatever. And then just like coming up in the opposite, I was like, do less, be more, and then I would send like with the lyrics to Happie, and then she would, use her incredible angelic voice and just, whatever. Or like, I get you, I've got you, I get you, I've got you. And then so I would send that to her. And then with like the lyrics, it's like, and then it's like, we stood there and swayed, surrounded by chaos, the beauty we entered, in a place so famous. This was like us going to, it was basically the Burning Man party in Central Park. And it was
I thought it was Graceland. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no words were needed, just beings in love, dancing together as pure as a dove. Like, I feel hope, I feel joy, not misunderstood. It's been lonely and hard to put into words. It's simple, it's obvious, it's 6 little words. I get you, I've got you, I get you, I've got you. So it's like, that just poured out of me, like in one sitting, in like 15 minutes. And then I just like, because I had experienced, anyways, it just, sometimes just inspiration hits and just boom. And then the music part is just like, I get you, I got you. And then in like in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, I just, and then Happie with it just happens so quickly, like it just, and like, I love it when inspiration hits and you just take action right away, because otherwise it's just like gone and then you're done. So like, I really love the idea of like doing immediately, like putting out the words, coming with the lyrics, sending it along, making the thing, and then like putting it to beats. Like it happened, the album came together like so quickly because I like printing like fast. Like I've operated like that as an entrepreneur for so long. It's like there's no dilly dally. If you actually if you go to my Instagram right now at Miki Agrawal, the very first thing you'll see is like a reel I made around like, we did this exhibit for Tushy, my current company, which is a modern bidet that washes your butt after you poop. I don't know if you've heard of Tushy, but it's...
yes, we have. Yes.
And we are big fans of Tushy.
Yes. And so it's a bidet. And so it's like an under $100 bidet that you can attach to your existing toilet. And it's not like this multi-thousand, like, like Japanese thing that sings to you. It does the job, exactly what you need, under $100. It's changed the lives of like millions of people already. It's really cool.
So it's not Bluetooth enabled.
It's not Bluetooth enabled. Well, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know there's some things happening in the background that we're thinking about, like, but
I get that vibe from you.
Yeah.
Like that there's just like that element of let's just do this.
Let's just do this. Like, let's just make it happen. And I think it's, it's just, there's no time like the present. Like, we don't have tomorrow, we don't have yesterday, like we have right now, and that's all we've got. Like, if inspiration hits, like, let's just do it right now. Like, what are you doing now? Are you cool now? You want to fly to Costa Rica and record it?
Okay.
week.
Oh,
Like, okay,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
literally how it all went down. It was like, do you want to come to, I'm going to Costa Rica next week. Why don't we just all fly out next week, get the whole week? Like, let's just bang it out, make it happen. And they're like, okay. It just like, that's, you know, usually like, I will say this, like the musician creative world that's not in business, they're like, just hang out and chill out. Let's smoke a little weed, kind of vibe out here. Let's go there. Whereas like coming from a background of just like making stuff happen, it's just like, I feel like, oh, like, okay, now new modality music, like, cool, let's just make it happen, like right now, you know? And so it was sort of, you know, it just happened. I don't know.
Well, obviously as a serial entrepreneur, you've had this spirit a long
By the way,
time.
I'm not shitting on the chilling out method because that also has its own form of inspiration. So
let's do that for a while.
Yeah,
let's just, well, that's why you have the Tushy. But sorry, Heidi, go ahead.
Exactly.
No, it's quite all right. I mean, I would talk about just chilling out and the Tushy all day long, but I want to go back to the bigger task at hand, I guess. You've obviously had this spirit for a really long time through all your various ventures and creativity. Were you born with it? Did you learn you were, or not were you were born with it, but did you know you were born with it early on, or with this ability to just say, let's just do it. Okay, we're going to do it. Whatever it may be, let's create this new invention. Let's write an album in a hyperbaric shape and let's just do it. That's something that people never and rarely have the strength or confidence to do, or faith to do.
Yeah, I think it's also just like the I don't care what people say mentality. It's like I think I've grown up with like enough friends and like my sisters, for example, who just champion me so much. My twin sister specifically, we champion each other so much that it's like I know I have one person who's gonna love my stuff that I put out. Like, so I don't care if anyone else likes it. Like I have some audience that's gonna be clapping for me, and that's enough. And so I think I think being a twin, where we're always like, yeah, I love it, do it, like make it happen. Like we're just very like, yeah, like that kind of energy. And it just lends itself to like just doing it, because like we're like, oh, where's the thing? And like kind of being accountability buddies for each other to be like, you know, like just like being hit with inspiration and then just having someone be like, where'd the thing go? Like what's happening with it? And it just kind of happens quickly that way. And I think being an entrepreneur, first being in a restaurant business where it's like everything, you know, I still have my restaurants wild to this day in New York City. You can go to @EatDrinkWild on Instagram, check it out. But it's like gluten-free pizza where it's like a hangry customer is a hangry customer who wants their pizza now. And so you solve their problem instantly. Or, you know, with building Thinks, my period underwear company was like so much, you know, run and gun fire drills all day long with this, that, and the other, where it's just like, wow, like I've learned to have to answer to things right away. And it just makes life more fun, because then you're just like making shit and you're printing it and it's happening and it's great, you know? So it's not, there's no dilly dally. If you go, like I said, go to my Instagram right now, like my first post is about no dilly dally. Like that's like it's the key ingredient, I think, is having fun. And just not dilly dallying and just like making it happen. Like you're hit with inspiration, just go do it right now.
It makes so much sense. And it
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But people don't do it. Actually, people are scared.
Because actually the longer you wait, the less likely you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
The bathroom, all of a sudden you've done
the laundry needs to be done.
Yeah. As soon as you've done some things for it, you're like, oh, I've got to keep going because I've already started, you know? Like 99% of like going to the gym and like starting to like get fit is putting your running shoes on right now and walking out that door. Like that is like the key ingredient, is put your running shoes on, walk out that door. And then now you're out the door. You're like, all right, well, I'm doing it. So it's the same concept in making and creating. It's like the key. Sorry, I'm going to take this thing out of my mouth now. The key thing is just putting your running shoes on and walking out that door right now and just starting, because it'll give you forward momentum to keep going. And all of a sudden it's done, you know?
And I'm assuming that's how the record happened.
Yeah. It just,
did you write it in order?
so the songs in the album is in the order of the way it was written, because it was really, it's like I said, it's a dance opera. And so because of it, it's like, it really follows the journey of like the freedom to the yearning, to the frustration, to the desires, to the fire, to the, you know, it's this, and then to the, maybe we should do this again, to the, okay, I accept we've changed, you know, like it's really that experience. Like it's the whole journey of love. And it poured out of me as I was experiencing things as they were happening. So it wasn't like, let me write it. I think oftentimes like writers, you know, you always say, write about what you know and write about what you're experiencing, because then it just pours out of you. So both my books, Do Cool Shit and Disrupt Her, were stories of just stuff that I've experienced in my life. And so I got to just tell the stories and have takeaways at the end of each chapter, which happened so quickly. Both books were written very quickly and sent out into the world very quickly. In the same way, you write songs about what you know, as I've come to find out, because I've never done this before. But like the idea of like writing music is just like, oh, like being hit with inspiration and just sending it to your friend who can respond quickly, then send it to your other friend who can fly to you and produce it with you quickly. You know, if you pay them or whatever, like, and so
then plug it back in. So that might work. Yeah.
So
sorry.
Yeah. So there's just this, it's the momentum, right? That we're all like, that made it possible.
Well, and it's interesting too. I was trying to explain to one of my kids the idea of, yes, it took you 10 minutes to learn this, but it took you 3 years to get to those 10 minutes. And I feel like this record clearly it took you 11 years to write the record in some ways, but
and 20 years of being an entrepreneur to end creative in the creative process, to know how the creative process works and to know like, you know, like how to execute, right? And I think a lot of times, like, you know, all of that learning of like, oh, like, you know, creating my restaurants, my things, Tushy, leading up to the record, even being a DJ and understanding, like, I've been a DJ for 10 years as well, my twin sister, like for fun, like, you know, and just. Do
you have a cool DJ name?
Me Too, which is hilarious.
Oh, that's good.
But because we're identical twins, we're like, me too. But then it, you know, kind of got co-opted a little bit for a second, but we're two Me Too, so we're fine. But yeah. So, and I also got Me Too, but anyways, it's a whole other thing. But yeah. So anyways, it's just sort of like all the different experiences lent itself to having kind of, you know, like understanding the creative process of putting something out but that's really true. Like, I think, you know, the key thing is authenticity. And like, all my businesses were born out of like my own ailment. Like starting my restaurants was because I had stomach aches, eating regular pizza, and I needed alternative pizza, gluten-free flours, hormone-free cheeses, local seasonal toppings, whatever. Things was born out of having period accidents every month and being like, oh my God, I'm such a mess every month to keep forgetting I have my period. And so I just needed a product for myself. And then Tushy was started because I just had to take a shower every time I took a shit, because I knew it was so disgusting. Dry paper, like, you know, the analogy I always give is, imagine if you jumped in your shower, didn't turn the water on, and just used dry toilet paper to like wipe down your dirtiest bits. Like, people would call you crazy. You know what I mean? Or like if a bird shit on your arm, would you take a piece of dry paper and be like, oh yeah, I'm clean. You want to lick my arm? It's like, no, like literally, like, let me wash it off. Right. So it's sort of, you know, it's kind of an obvious thing. So
it is, that's what's so crazy. It's so obvious and people don't do it.
That's it. So anyway, so it's just, I forgot what we were talking about.
This is great, because this is, you know, when we talked with Steve Cropper, we did not have this conversation. I'll say that much.
We did not.
But one of the other things that I think is so cool with this project is that there's an acoustic version of it to go along with it. And there's always that thing of like, it's not a real song unless you can play it on a guitar or a piano, or there's some sort of like, we can strip it down to its bare minimum. And it's almost the two of you saying, well, here's our proof of concept. Here it is exactly as, you know, as it was written.
The first versions were acoustic, and then we turned them into dance because for myself, I love singer-songwriter music. I'm always the first row center of like my friend, like even Happy is like when she plays acoustic and guitar, I'm always like front row, like listening or whatever. So I love acoustic music. I was like the acapella groupie of Cornell, basically. Like every time there was like an acapella show, you know, or any type of musical, like anything, I would just like, that was like acapella E and like very singer-songwriter E, I'd be like that person front row. So I've always loved acoustic music. And I also like, I'm a dancer. I love dancing. I'm a DJ, you know, I love the expression, the self-expression of dancing. And like, when I moved through my uncoupling process of my marriage, I would just put hoodies on and just play the music and just dance to it and just like go hard dancing to it. And I think like both modalities bring out emotion in different ways, and they serve different purposes in different ways at different times. And so I wanted to make sure that both existed for the same songs because they live in integrity both ways, you know?
Yeah. Your Saturday night, Sunday morning record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Makes complete sense.
Well, and it's amazing when there are songs that can live in both worlds, right? Songs that are phenomenal either way. They work no matter how you do it.
That's right. 100%. So like, yeah, I mean, there's Soul Gaze, there's It All Exists is the name of the dance album, but then It All Exists acoustic. And actually the very, very final song on the acoustic one, even if I'm not necessarily a singer, I sang it myself. So it's like, and I was in my room, just like banging my hand on the pillow and just sang it as a voice note. And I just put it in there because I'm like, Miki, I'm going to learn to sing. And that's the next thing I'm going to do is learn to really like hone my voice. I've taken 6 singing lessons this last month, and I'm starting to really like find my voice and really belt it out because it's I actually burst into tears right before my first singing lesson because I'm like, wow, like I remember when I was 10 years old and I was in a musical and I forgot my lines. I think since then I just stopped singing, you know, but I can write the music and I can write the lyrics, and I can write the melodies and I can write you know, but I just haven't been able to hone the singing part yet. And so now I'm like, that's my next like edge that I'm going for. But like, if you listen to the very final song on the acoustic track, that is me singing just very quietly in the voice note, just to put myself out there. Even if no one listened to it, everyone finds it terrible, I don't care. I just want it to be like me showing myself that it's okay. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to just start singing. Like, that's my next thing. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Are your friends and folks, when you tell them, oh yeah, I made a record, or actually I made 2 records, are they surprised, or is nothing you do ever like like, can you confuse people still?
Sometimes I feel like I'm like, am I being too much? I'm like, fuck it. No, too much. But I really don't think so. I think my friends do see both my sister and me as polymaths, you know, as like people who do and care about many different industries and many different things, and what we care about, we go 100% into. We're not like a 10%, 15%, 20%, even 50% types of people. We just are 100%ers. And I think,
yeah, that comes across. You can tell. I mean,
and I think because of that, it's just like, oh, if you're going to put out music, you're going to make music, and you're going to get the best people to make music with. Because I was like, I'm not going to sing my own album because I know, like, as a creative director, I'm not good enough yet. So let me bring in an excellent singer. I can help her get to levels. Like, she belted out some of the songs that she's even never heard herself singing. Like the song Fire, she's like, wow, like I didn't know that was in me to sing. Like, and so like, I feel like I can creative direct music now. Like I know what I can put the layers together, like working with Gene on like all the different layers of the music. I know what I want and how I want this, like bouncier, and like I want the guitar riffs to go like this. Like I know what I'm looking for. I don't quite know the terminology yet, but I know when I listen to it and put it all together. So like I definitely am honing in the skills. And I also, like, again, I can tell you right now that I'm not ready to like sing on an album that's good yet, right? And so and to know that it's good, like, but I can do the spoken word for it because I can speak and I speak publicly, and I've done that, and I can do rhyme schemes and I can do that part totally fine. So like knowing, like, it's like know your role. And I think in my businesses, I'm the chief creative officer, I'm the founder and chief creative officer. I'm not the CEO, because I know where I'm best put. I know I'm like colorful and creative and, you know, like here and there, like I'm, you know, I need someone consistent and like that to be my CEOs for my company. So both my companies have CEOs in place and they crush it. I get to really be the creative founder, right? So in the same way, like in this project, I know my limitations. I know where I'm good. I know where to sit down and let someone else do their part better, way better than me. And that's why I think like, I think it's a really good piece of art, and that the people around me and my friends are like, of course it's really good, because I'm also not too proud to bench myself when I need to be benched in certain parts, you know, for the quality of excellent music.
It's so simple. It's actually quite obvious. It's 6 little words.
We stood there and swayed, surrounded by chaos. The beauty we entered in a place so famous. No words were needed, just beings in love, dancing together as pure as a dove. I feel hope, I feel joy, and not misunderstood. It's been lonely and hard to put it into words. It's simple, it's obvious. It's 6 little words. To feel me, to see me, to open up my world. I get you.
For more information on Soul Gaze and all the other stuff we talked about with Miki, check out her website, Miki Agrawal, that's Mikiagrawal, or she's on Instagram where she's at Miki Agrawal.
You can check us out on all the various socials. Be sure to visit our website at rockandrollgradschool.com, and don't forget to leave us a review.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hegquist. Our reluctant producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thank you, good night, and may all your favorite bands stay together.